My dear child, you've prayed until your knees are raw. You've begged until your voice is hoarse. You've poured out your heart, your fears, your deepest desires, sending them up to heaven like desperate flares in the night. And what you get back is nothing, just a profound, deafening silence. It's a silence that feels heavy, a quiet that just echoes with questions. Did you even hear me? Do you care? Have you abandoned me? That feeling, that spiritual void, can be one of the most painful and confusing things you can go through in a life of faith. It can make you question everything you thought you knew and leave you feeling completely and utterly alone. When you're stuck in this season of silence, it's so easy to look around and feel like you're the only one. You see other people celebrating their answered prayers, sharing stories of miracles and breakthroughs, and you can't help but wonder, what's wrong with me? Am I not praying hard enough? Is there some hidden sin in my life that's blocking God's voice? The silence can feel so personal, like a direct rejection. It's not just that you can't hear a voice, it's that you can't feel a father. But this struggle is as old as faith itself. Throughout the Bible, some of the most devoted people of God went through these same agonizing periods of divine quiet. King David, a man God himself called a man after my own heart, cried out in Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? So far from my cries of anguish. Job, a man who God described as blameless, lost everything and was met with a crushing silence from heaven for chapter after chapter. He just couldn't understand why God, his friend, was nowhere to be found. Even John the Baptist, the powerful prophet who prepared the way for Jesus, had his own moment of doubt while wasting away in a prison cell, sending his friends to ask Jesus if he was really the one. So if you're in that place right now, know this, you're not alone. And this experience isn't new. This feeling of being overlooked, forgotten, and unheard by God is a valley that so many of the faithful have walked through. The silence isn't a sign of your failure, and it's not a sign of his indifference. It's something else entirely. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if the silence isn't a void, but a space that's actually filled with purpose? What if God's silence isn't a sign of his absence, but a sign of his deep trust in you? A wise Christian writer once said, when you cannot hear God, you will find that he has trusted you in the most intimate way possible with absolute silence, because he saw that you could withstand an even bigger revelation. This is where we need to flip the script. We have to shift our perspective from God is absent to God is working. Just because he is silent does not mean he is still. His quiet isn't emptiness. It's a period of profound and often hidden activity. So let's explore the deep, life-changing reasons God sometimes goes quiet and what he's actually building in your life during these seasons. First, God's silence is often an invitation to a deeper faith. When we're constantly getting flashy signs and immediate answers, our faith can become about the gifts, not the giver. We risk loving the answers more than we love God himself. So the silence strips away our spiritual crutches. It forces us to move from a faith based on what we can see and feel to a faith that trusts in God's character alone. It teaches us to walk by faith, not by sight. God is building a foundation in you that can't be shaken by your circumstances, a trust that says, even if he is silent, I know he's good. Even if I can't see his hand, I will trust his heart. This is the kind of unshakable faith that's forged not in the lightning and thunder, but in the quiet waiting. A perfect picture of this is the story of Elijah on Mount Horeb. After this huge, fiery victory over the prophets of Baal, Elijah fled for his life, feeling defeated and totally alone. He went to the mountain of God expecting another big show, and there was a powerful wind that shattered rocks, a terrifying earthquake, and a raging fire. But the Bible makes a point to say that the Lord was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. Then, after all that noise and chaos, there came what the original Hebrew calls a thin silence, or a still, small voice. And in that gentle whisper, God met Elijah. This teaches us something huge. God's presence isn't always in the big spectacle. Sometimes, his most intimate work is done in the quiet, inviting us to lean in and listen. to find him in the stillness, not just in the storms. Second, silence is often a season of preparation. Think of a seed. After you plant it, it disappears into the dark soil for days, maybe weeks. There's no sign of life, but under the surface, a miracle is happening. Roots are pushing down. A stem is fighting its way up. This whole complex process is unfolding in complete darkness and silence. That's what God is doing in you. These quiet seasons are when He does His deepest work, building patience, resilience, and character. The 400 years of silence between the Old and New Testaments is a perfect example. For generations, God's people waited, probably wondering if He'd forgotten His promises. But during that time, God wasn't just sitting around. He was setting the stage of history, putting a common language and political systems in place that would let the gospel spread like wildfire once Jesus arrived. His silence wasn't abandonment. It was preparation for the greatest moment in history. In the same way, He might be quiet in your life because He's preparing you for the promise He has for you, building the character you'll need to handle the blessing that's on its way. And third, God's silence can be an act of love, designed to show us something even greater about who He is. In the Gospel of John, we have the story of Lazarus, one of Jesus' closest friends. When Jesus heard Lazarus was sick, He didn't rush to his side. He intentionally waited for Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha. This delay felt like neglect. Their brother died, and their hope died with him. Jesus' silence in their moment of desperate need was excruciating. But His delay was actually a profound act of love, because it was setting the stage for a miracle far greater than healing. It was going to be a demonstration of resurrection power. By waiting, Jesus revealed a deeper truth about Himself, that He is the resurrection and the life. Sometimes, God's delay and silence in our lives are for that same reason, to answer our prayer in a way that is so much bigger and more glorious than we ever could have imagined. So, if you find yourself in this season of silence, what do you do? How do you actually walk through this quiet desert? First, be brutally honest with God. Prayer isn't about giving God new information. He already knows what's in your heart. It's about being real with Him and inviting Him into your struggle. Just look at the Psalms. They are filled with raw, unfiltered emotion. David didn't hold back. He poured out his anger, his fear, his confusion. Tell God you feel abandoned. Ask Him your hard questions. A real relationship is what gets us through suffering, and real relationships are built on honesty. Second, take a look at your own heart. Now, this isn't about finding a reason to blame yourself. It's about making sure nothing is blocking your spiritual ears. Sometimes, the noise of the world, unconfessed sin, or just things we've put ahead of God can make it hard to hear His gentle whisper. Psalm 66:18 says, "If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened." So just take some time for quiet reflection and ask God to show you if there's anything getting in the way of your closeness with Him. Third, anchor yourself in His Word. Even when God seems silent in your personal prayers, He is never truly silent. He speaks constantly through the Bible. This is His written word to us, filled with His promises, a picture of His character and His heart for you. Dive into it. Remind yourself of what He's done in the past, for the people in the Bible and in your own life. When your feelings are all over the place, God's word is the unshakable truth you can stand on. And finally, just because God is silent, don't you be silent. Keep talking to Him. Keep praying. Job's story teaches this so well. For 37 chapters, his cries were met with what felt like a deafening silence from God. But he kept seeking. God's silence is not a permission slip to turn your back on Him. It's an invitation to press in closer and seek Him even more. If you are in a season where the heavens just feel like brass, please don't lose hope. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you. The silence isn't a sign of His absence, but a powerful instrument in His hands. He is building your faith. He is developing your character, and He is preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. He is listening. He is holding you, and He is inviting you into a deeper trust So embrace the stillness, because in it, you may just find him in a way you never have before. The silence will not last forever. Morning is coming. I really hope this message encouraged you today. If it did, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me about how you've handled seasons of silence in your own life. And don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you on your walk of faith. You're not alone in this.